Alright, so it looks like the stream has started. So for this stream, I have something actually I think pretty useful to show, and that is frame selection. So this is what I demoed last time. If I type tab, you can see that I'm now selecting. I can now iterate through the different frames, so I can select different areas of the user interface. And I have a chatter already. Vic IRL says, "Hi, how's it going?" Yeah, so this is I've been working up to this for a while. I almost had this working last time, but this will be I think a pretty useful milestone for developing everything else in the UI. I realized today, so I started working on the help menu for to deliver the last Kickstarter promise, and then I realized that I'm gonna need it's gonna be too long, so I'm gonna have a way to scroll down. So that's the next thing I'm gonna implement. Same game. Yeah, so this the frame I'm in right here, right now, if I just is actually a bug where when I select a new frame, it unloads for some reason. But yeah, so this is the exact same game that I showed before, and basically this is just a demo to get something working. Because to have a game, you have to have a user interface and have to be able to, for example, like to be able to equip items, or if you want to do crafting or something, or help menus and stuff. So, and if you type escape, then the help menu comes up, and I guess there's actually a bug there, so it's selecting both frames at once. Right? So I can tab through, and the last frame is the help menu. So it's pretty cramped, but it's basically the entire same game as before. So I can move around, and even though it's pretty small, and eventually I'll probably add like something so you can resize the frames and stuff like that. Yep, still Java and SQLite. It works with SQLite and Postgres. Other frames, anything you can think of. So people have asked for lots of stuff. A pretty natural next step. Like right now, you can do the only way to do crafting is you press the C key, and then it just auto crafts the next thing. But ideally, you would have some control over what recipe you're crafting, and right now that does not exist in the game. And of course, you would ideally want to equip stuff onto your player, or have a more kind of rich inventory menu. So now one of the main next things is like you can place blocks in the game by pressing the P key. So that just places one rock, but there's no way to select which type of block that you're actually choosing. So what the next step, which is pretty easy now, will be you can do tab down to the inventory. Excuse me. And you can tab down to the inventory, and then there'll be a way to select which item you're actually which item is currently selected in the inventory, so that you can change what you're placing. And right now there's no way to go back up one, so you have to cycle through all of them. But the basic facilities are there. So yeah, there's not a whole lot to demo other than that, but there was also, I guess, with the so over here with in the help in the help menu, I wrote some functions to like justify the text. So alignment to left alignment and add some padding and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm actually not sick. I just I don't know, my throat's not clear or something, or I drank too much, had too much candy before this or something. I'm gassy and anyway, yeah. So the alignment of text and stuff, and printing of the some custom printing functions, and then also I did make some changes to. Before I was only supporting background colors, and I didn't make it so that when you update the ANSI escape sequences, that I had to make it so you can send each character on screen can be associated with more than one ANSI escape sequence, so that way you can change not only the background color but also the foreground color, and then also I'll probably have situations where I want like underlined text or bolded or other kinds of effects. Yeah, that there's a bug where whenever I guess when I select away on the frame now, everything goes out of, it unloads for some reason, but I'll work on that. It's probably not a difficult fix. Yeah, so it's not really ideal playing circumstance with a small frame, but this is just today I'll do as I usually do and just kind of test it out and find all the bugs. Building a user interface is sure to have lots and lots of bugs crop up. And were you making it with TUI library or raw? It's basically raw. I actually don't even really know about any terminal user interfaces. I wanted some. There's some things that I wanted very, very much for this, and one of those is to be able to have a separate thread for every single frame. Because the whole idea of this this game is, it's going to be processing stuff, and it would also be nice for debugging, for actually development of the game, where if I can just like if I want to have complex debug output to monitor stuff, like one example is the monitoring which chunks are loaded, and like what there's kind of a complicated flow diagram to know like when I move into a new area. I just can't see it because it's so small. Let me go back into the other layout. When you load an area of the map, there's a kind of complex set of states it has to go through, where it has to send a request to the server, then the request is pending. Then when it comes back, then it knows that a chunk is uninitialized, then it has to send a request to initialize it. And as it goes through that kind of flow state, there's a whole bunch of different stuff that can happen. Where like if you, I use very, very long variable name lengths. I'm pretty descriptive in my. It's the only way I can remember what things are. Yeah, so when I go to those areas in the map, so first they start off as the question marks, and then they become the U unloaded characters. And there's various situations where I can send a request to the server, and then if that takes a while, and then I move out of that area, the request to the server that's to load that chunk, I can potentially drop that request. So then I basically evict that from memory. And there's situations where like I can have a pending chunk request that gets kind of lost, and then some of the data structures fill up and stuff, and it leaks memory. And So just debugging all that kind of stuff would be nice to have a more general frame utility, and then also be able to have a separate thread on it so it doesn't lag everything else. And I could probably add, like, I have logging in the game, and I could probably just add something to this so it actually I could see the logs in the game itself. I could just open a new frame and then look at the logs. Hail Satin. Please? I'm not sure on the context for that. So yeah, that's I guess the other thing I worked on was the shorts video for this week. To make the better quality ones, it takes a bit more time. It's kind of not really worth. They make almost no revenue, but people do comment that they really like them. So I'll try to just stick with the one per month. I was kind of behind on this one, but today, the last couple of days, I focused on this, and I'm going to try and get. I think I'm basically. Well, if I open the help menu, so here's the help menu. I just got to add there's a little bit more detail I have to add to this, and then I have to add the ability to. So once you select over to it, you can. So you can scroll down once you're in the focus here, and then. Once I have that, then that basically means I've completely delivered on the Kickstarter, and then maybe I'll do another Kickstarter. Pretty sure you got 80% of your audience from them. From the shorts, I would say it's actually more like, well, it depends. Probably at this point, the biggest video I have is the how to make a CPU video, and that video is has orders of magnitude. Like the shorts have like 10,000 views. Most of the ones I've done in the last like 6 months, they have like 10,000 views each. But the how to make a CPU video is like 6 million now. So that's like, what is that? A few orders of magnitude more. But I think probably YouTube optimizes it so like the people that see that video are also likely to watch the shorts. Matt, the great Matt. That's confusing. I guess that's part of your name, but it looks like it's part of the message almost. I still hear people talking about the CPU video. That was really good. Yeah, that was, I guess it'd be nice to do a whole bunch of videos like that, but I don't know if I can. It was quite a bit of work to do that one. And I would say there's also, like, it's not only just about putting a lot of work into it, but the topic, like there's a finite number of video topics that you can do for a video like that. Like there's everyone in the world has used a CPU, and I think everyone is a casual interested in knowing how they work or how they're made. And we also had the semiconductor shortage, so there's been like in the Intel foundry problems and stuff, and like all that stuff attracts views to it. I can't think of, there's not many other things that are so like universally important like CPUs, so it'd be difficult to find to pick more videos, video topics that I could even do. I discovered your channel because of the GNU Tools ranking video. Oh, okay, that one was fairly yeah, that was a fairly recent. That was the 108 core utils commands, I think. Howdy, did you vote for Prez? Oh wait, you're not in a real country. Yeah, it's your criticism is completely warranted. I remember growing up, there was that like South Park song that said that Canada's not even a real country anyway, and I was like, oh, that's kind of amusing, but of course it is. But as an adult, I now understand that Canada isn't really a real country. Yeah, the election is that's going to be over. We're gonna know who's the president in like a week or a week and a half or something, I think. That'll be interesting. Yeah, no matter what happens, the outcome is going to be exciting. So there's one of the first bugs in the game. So I need to, I have like an event, special event that gets sent out to like when the frame focus is changed. So I have to make it so that that same event goes out when you close a window. That'll have to go out. Close or open. I gotta go. 2:15 a.m. Yeah, I think it's time for bed. Have a good night. Losers of the election will be extra sour. Yeah, I bet they will. Yeah, I hope the world improves in the near future. I know the Fed has been decreasing interest rates, which should maybe bring some optimism to the economy. Although I think a big part of the reason that things are so messed up is we had such low rates for so long that it kind of distorted the economy. And it's kind of like raising interest rates rapidly and then lowering them and stuff all the time. It's I don't think it's I think it does more harm than good if you're changing interest rates too fast. Michigan voter registration is at 110%. Absolutely insane. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't been following that, but I'm sure there's lots of interesting drama going on with that. There's a video for you if you could really explain how the economy works in an amusing way. Yeah, it would be kind of. I would actually kind of like to. It's on my list to do like some kind of economy type videos, specifically in a way that relates to like the business cycle. Like it would be kind of an extension of my my business related videos, because I do think, especially now, understanding how interest rates affect the economy, and just I think that really the key takeaways, if you're not someone, if you're the type of person who doesn't really care if the Federal Reserve changes interest rates, I think you should try to care. And among rich people, like if you watch podcasts like the All In podcast, or any kind of like financial people, one of the main things they always try to talk about is they want to predict what the Fed will do in changing interest rates. And interest rates are like so central to everything they're trying to predict. And in a way, like becoming rich now, I think has become almost like a game of just predicting what the government will do with interest rates. Because if you can do that, you can like make an infinite amount of money. And if you get it wrong, then you're going to get caught in the wrong side of the business cycle. Crazy thing is, as of today, just pollings and registrations. Voting office in my city opened just today, and the turnout is pretty large. Yeah, I keep I mean, I've looked at some sources, and they're like, and they say like, oh, every poll is saying it's going to be Trump, and then so I'm like, okay, so I Google it, and then some of like the main polls that show up in Google say it's going to be Harris by a couple, like a 0.5% margin or something, and it's just so much so the polls seem like wildly in disagreement with each other by like 10%. Like so, you would think that in this age of information, we would have access to more information and we could like calculate and predict this better. But the thing is, pollsters shouldn't be a joke, especially like these days where we have more information. I mean, it seems it's almost like there's an information war going on, where you'd think that with our advanced computers and civilization, we could poll more accurately, and like the inaccurate pollsters, people would eventually ignore them. But it almost seems like there's this technology has given us less transparency rather than more. Why do I get Terry A. Davis vibes? I don't know. I guess the minimalist terminal interface. It also persuades people to not vote because I live in a state that votes this way anyways. Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know if I have anything else to say other than what you said. Fortunately, it'll be decided in a week and a half or something, and there'll be no need to opine on the subject. It'll be history. I think it'll be good for the economy once, regardless of what happens with the election, because then businesses can like have a bit more certainty, and certainty equals economic stability. There'll be a large problem if real turnout is above population levels. Yeah, I mean, I guess Yeah, that's an interesting question. Like, if more people showed, but I would have to assume, like, in order to vote, you have to be registered or something. So you have to be like you have to be on file somewhere. So I don't know. I'm glad it's not my problem. What am I doing? I'm currently playing the block mining simulation game, which is a video game that I've been working on. So every week I try to do a little bit of work on it, and then Saturdays I play test it. And I've been I crowdfunded a little bit of money in my last Kickstarter campaign to fund the development of a help menu, so you can figure out how to play the game. And yeah, that's basically it. So you go around, you press the M key, you mine blocks, and currently that is the only game mechanic. Bunch of states. Oh, I missed one. In your game, when you move quickly, there's a bunch of U's. What's that? So U stands for uninitialized. So that's areas of the map that. So the question marks those are on the edge there. Those are the ones that are where I have no idea what's there, and then the U's are areas of the map that have to be initialized. So then they get sent. The chunks get sent back a chunk request to initialize it, and then the terrain generation thread will figure out what's at that location, and then it gets sent back and displayed in the map. A bunch of states, like mine, allow for migrants to vote without proper government ID. Yeah, I remember hearing that there's something like that. That, I mean, if you ask me, it doesn't sound like a good idea to allow migrants who don't have ID to vote. But I don't know, maybe I'm alone on that. Technically speaking, what stops same person going to multiple places, presenting different names? Yeah, I mean, that whole thing, that all seems like it could be fixed by, common sense practices like screening for looking at IDs and stuff like that. But like I said, I'm glad I don't have to deal with this problem. Oh, you may notice there's a new block. This thing here. Actually, I don't even know how to pronounce it. So for the Kickstarter that I did, the last one that I did, there were two one backer dropped, but there were two pledges for custom block type, and actually one of them was they originally requested Alexandrite, I think, and but I looked that up, and I'm going to make it so that all the block types, I'm going to include anything based on its CAS number. So CAS is a system for identifying chemicals and stuff. And if the mineral has a CAS number, I will make it eligible to add as a block in the game. Sitten Rose Shinglaw says, "Hi, how's it going?" So as you can see, because I added a couple more block types, they're starting to fall off the edge. But now that I have the I can select frames, then the next thing to do will be to make it so you can actually select through this and you can scroll through it. What do you think about YouTube turning pink? Do you mean how the bars, the progress bar has changed color? I don't know. Not sure what's up with that. It's someone commented. I saw a thread. Someone commented that they thought there was a problem with their monitor, and that's what I thought originally too. Looks like screen burn-in or OLED degradation. Yeah, I don't know what. It would be interesting to know the reason behind that change. Like presumably, like it's such a random thing to change. Presumably, they must have done some massive A/B testing and found that makes them 1 cent more money by slightly changing the color of that progress bar. No need to set people off if people are behaving themselves in the chat. Hail Satan. That's not too bad. So as long as people don't post super crazy stuff. Well, it hasn't crashed yet. I made a bunch of changes to the printing code. It's just more little bugs and stuff that I found. Does your game work in VS Code's terminal? I think some terminals slightly disagree on how wide some emojis are. So I have not tried this on any. I've only tried this on a couple versions of Ubuntu, but I've designed it in such a way that is hopefully very robust against variable width characters. So there's actually a few, at least in like VTE terminal, there's a couple functions you can hook into in the like VTE source code to figure out how wide a character is. But it's even like the values differ between I think Ubuntu 20 and Ubuntu 24. I was testing on both, and like the rock character is a different width on them. So and there's also wide character mode. So you can do. Actually, let's test this right now. So compatibility. So if I do wide, and then now if this is going to break everything. So if I go around, yeah, see the UI's getting messed up. Actually, it's not too broken, but yeah, anytime you draw the frame, yeah, it's getting all messed up because those characters are wider. Now, if I restart it, the game, yeah, I designed it so it instead of relying on a function, it just empirically measures how wide is the character. So there's actually, when I first started it up, there's like a part of the frame that draws before everything else, and that's just because I'm covering up where I draw the test character. So every time it prints a character that it's never printed before, it basically pauses the printing and it prints a test character, and then it uses the Nancy escape sequence to read back the updated cursor position, and then based on that it calculates how empirically wide that character is, and then that's the value that it uses for any kind of math on figuring out how to pad stuff and whatnot. And so it should work in lots of different terminals, and with even like if a Unicode character is like broken or not supported or something, and it has some issue, if it empirically has a certain width, it'll just use that. And it has the benefit of I don't have to like think about wide mode and stuff. It just empirically measures that. However, there's also supporting wide mode kind of there's other all kinds of other corner cases that only actually, yeah. So with the frame highlighting, it's not working. It's let me go through. Okay, never mind. Maybe I have to add some extra updates so it actually refreshes, but it might be basically working. But there are a whole bunch of special cases for wide mode, because when the frame characters are 2 characters wide, then when you mix that with printing characters that are single space wide, it totally messes stuff up. Yes, it does allow you to read back the width. So that is in. I have a console writer. So I have the way I have it implemented is so every frame is its own thread, and the threads send messages when they want to print stuff to the console writer thread, and the console writer thread has the monopoly on printing to the terminal. So I have this kind of I need to improve this a little bit, but this here is the state machine. So it the background processing task is it just goes through and tries to read work items, and if there is a text with the measurement work item, it takes priority on that. So if I have one of those, it moves to the starting position, which I think is just like 1-1 or something, or whatever is the coordinate of the upper corner, which I think is 1-1 because of the 1-based indexing. And then this character here, escape, square bracket 6n, that this sequence requests the current cursor position, and then based on whatever value comes back, I can figure out what the displacement of that character was. And I've also made some updates recently. So if we're printing like multi-line text, I'll use that for detecting if there's a I just kind of let it go through and check. So if there's a Y displacement, then that means it's a new line or some other vertical tab or something. Yeah, so this so the flow here is, so we print this out. So set it to 1.1, flush the buffer. I don't know if that's necessary, but I do it anyway. Print the text, usually just one character at a time. Flush all that printing, and then print this skip code, and then and I have it set up so like another thread to do this with the measurement request. It blocks on this thread, so it sends a message, and then this thread will block the other thread, and then because it's asynchronous, it takes time for the terminal emulator to send back the response, and then once the response comes back, it caches the result and then unblocks the thread with the result. And then as long as there's no text with measurement requests, then it just processes the screen printing stuff. Because if I interleave normal screen printing with this whole sequence and stuff, then they can interfere with each other. So it'll totally mess up the width calculations. This isn't a terminal emulator dev, right? No, but although some of this touches on. I mean, some people would probably say like you should be using like ncurses or something like that, but I don't know. I've looked in some of these and like ncurses in C or C++. I can't remember which. It's probably bits of both, but I wanted to do this. I think for a game, it makes sense to have it in Java. And I've written enough C to know that like any kind of string manipulation, it doesn't make sense to do it in C. And Java is also great for a lot of other. I just like Java. I think is a pretty. If I was to write like thousands of lines of code in something, I think Java is a pretty decent language to have it in. And let's see, the other aspect of this was the escape sequence extractor. Maybe I'll go into the standard input reader. So I have another thread for it's dedicated for reading. So this thing sets the TDY to raw mode and stuff. And yeah, so all this thread all it does is read. So it just reads from, where's the read call? Standard. It reads from standard input. That's all it does. And so if I type things, if I type movement, that comes in through this. But then if I the cursor position reports also come in through this. And so it's I've actually even found there's some tricky cases where like if I type the escape character, it's difficult to tell the difference between like an escape character and then an escape like ANSI sequence, like a pressing the arrow keys or a cursor position report. But anyway, what this does is just reads from standard input. It calls the on input bytes, And so I have this a parser, ANSI escape sequence extractor. So this is a simple parser, right? Simple right now. Eventually, if I export more sequences, right now the only thing it's actually parsing is the position reports. So after I issue that, like whatever that was, bracket 6n or something, the actual position that comes back is escape bracket, and there's an integer constant, semicolon, integer constant, and then the letter R. So if that appears anywhere in the input stream, that'll gets extracted and then turned into another message, and then every other. Yeah, so it says, is there a cursor position report? And in general, in the future, this could just be any kind of escape sequence. So if there was a cursor position report, it notifies the console writer thread, and then the console writer thread actually does something with that result, and then whatever thread was blocked trying to figure out how wide a character was. And it's it seems like such an insane design, but I think it works. It's like a pretty, I think, a fairly correct and robust way of calculating if you want to do, like, if you want to have multiple threads that are writing text, and you want to be 100% sure how wide is a stupid character. It's an unfortunately very difficult problem in terminals to figure out how wide a character is. And the only way, like the most robust way, is actually just print it and measure it. And this does that. And then the other cases here where yeah, I think so. Like if I right now I had a bug before where I think if I typed an arrow key, it was getting stuck because it saw the start of an escape sequence. There was a case where I had a deadlock with that, where it was getting stuck in the input stream. And so I just made it, if it sees those characters, instead of concluding that it's not finished parsing, just like discard them. So parse the rest of the sequence, and then so that way you can still have input. So if I like accidentally hit a down arrow key, I'm not like stuck in the game, because otherwise I can't press the Q to exit. And since it's in raw mode, I can't do Control C. And then the other cases are, single escape character, and then if we're just pressing like WASD down here. Watching live at 2x, two times speed, I guess you mean? Yeah, YouTube does. YouTube allows you to rewind streams, which is pretty convenient if you drop in late. Twitch doesn't do that, I don't think. Java love. Yeah, Java's it's a decent language. I think it's like the more type information you have available, I just think it's like if you want to do any kind of automatic transformation, or like if you write a lot of code and there's a problem with the code and you regret it, if there's type information available, if you want to do like bulk refactoring or rewriting of the code, it's just easier. So in that way, it's like if you want if you don't like the language for some reason, you can, I think in the future, once we can transpile every language to every other language, it'll be a lot easier in the future if you have all the typing information. It was something that I thought about from a while ago. I saw a Pirate Software had a shorts clip where he talked about specifically about the YouTube chat, and something that someone mentioned before is I guess I'm on Top Chat, so there's like Top Chat, and then there's Top Chat and Live Chat or all chat or something, and I never even like thought about the difference, and then someone pointed out to me a while ago, but I forgot about it. And I think he was saying that basically everyone who's a moderator sets themselves to I think all chat, because if you want to moderate, you have to moderate all the chat, because if someone is on the other one, then they'll get all the weird messages. I haven't really thought about that. I wonder if it could be affecting the stream if someone is like typing something bad in the other chat that I can't see. Does anyone here ever check the has anyone used the what is it called, Live Chat? Right now it's Top Chat, but is there anyone like spamming Bitcoin scams or something in there? Just checked yours right now. Looks like you've got at least one person being ignored in Top Chat. Interesting. There's a couple of people I've had to hide from channel. So that by ignored, you just mean like their whatever they post doesn't show up in the chat. Does it ignore everything that they say? Like, are they saying like crazy stuff, or is it like just a somewhat normal person? That's the worst with these platforms. There's just like all these AIs are going rogue, like censoring people and like crafting like human-like messages, speaking on our behalf. I don't know if anyone saw my community post today. I dig jokes. Interesting. Hello, fellow humans. How's it going, fellow human? But yeah, the someone so in my when I look at comments and I'm in the interface to respond to them, within the last week or so, YouTube added a feature where it uses AI to like auto suggest a comment, and so I can like click on it, it'll auto post a comment as if I thought about it and wrote it, but it's using very specific and like detailed comments that are like aware of the context of the video, and I think it's their new push to really push the edge on large language models and stuff. And on my how to make a CPU video, someone posted like it was something pretty generic, like thanks for helping me learn how to make a CPU. And then the auto suggested comment was like, thanks, but industry professionals would still think I'm an idiot. I thought it was funny, but just because it's such a self-deprecating comment, but it's like completely it's like an unnecessarily self-deprecating comment, and the fact that the AI thinks that that's what I want to post, is interesting. It's like, is it thinking that I would put myself down for that, or that is it because like it's trained on like Reddit threads where people post self-deprecating stuff all the time. And I was saying in one of the other comments that it's kind of it's one thing to be insulted, like if a person calls you an idiot, you can brush it off, but then in the future, when an AI tries to predict your words, but it puts like words in your mouth that you don't agree with, like what does that mean? Is the AI broken, or is it like maybe it knows something about yourself that you don't know? It's also sometimes it goes like really off the rails, like on the logout video. Someone posted like I think they said they don't really understand what it's about. I think they probably like have no way. They're not a non-technical person. Probably saw the video, and the suggested comment was like, "Oh, I think you've got it wrong. I think you mean the log space out command, which is like wrong and ridiculous. Like it's the logout command. That's what the video is about." But it tried to like, he didn't even mention the logout command, and it tried to correct him and say like, no, it's log space out, which is a wrong correction. So it's just like, frivolous, unnecessary, and wrong. But the thing is, it's like the comment is normal and sophisticated enough to look like it looks convincingly like a person typed that and was actually trying to convey information. Hello, fellow human. Hello, how's it going? It's a great day with my fellow humans. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I keep forgetting that everything is AI now. So I also have to be suspicious that like every person in the chat could be an AI. That would make sense for like I could imagine like tons of platforms probably do that now. I think Reddit famously had like a bunch of fake users. This is like 10 years ago. They had fake users and to try and juice up their numbers to make it seem like there's a community, and then eventually a real community filled it in. But it could be like all, I wonder what percentage of my subscribers and chatters are all just AI. Though isn't impressive that the AI always has perfect grammar and spelling. That I find wild. Yeah, it's starting to get scary good. And the really mentally jarring thing is I keep, like, if I'm reading something and the premise is, you know, do you think this is AI or not? Like if someone asked me to read the chat and I'm like, do you think these comments are AI or not? I'd be like, you know, this is more sophisticated and based on the, you know, level of awareness, I could make a reasonable assumption. But then if I'm not thinking about it and then I just read a comment, I'm like, oh, this is a comment from a human, and my guard is down. But the AI is so good. And the image and video stuff is so good. There's at least a few cases now where I've seen a video and I watched it for, like, you know, it used to be like you could tell within the first couple of seconds the movement is weird. But now it's like I've watched, you know, some videos for as much as 10 seconds or so, and then there's like one frame where like someone's clothing changes inexplicably, and I'm like, oh, that was AI. Good going, brother. What are you making here? It looks amazing. Sorry if it's a stupid question. I'm sure you've answered this already. How are you making this? I'm a beginner program, so my terminal programs are limited to static frames. So this is a block mining simulation game. So it's a terminal-based game that I've been working on for a little while. You just spam the M key to mine blocks. So how am I developing this? This is in Java, so I develop it right in the terminal. So here's some of the code. I was reviewing that a little bit earlier. So I don't use an IDE. I used to use an IDE back in the day, but it's they're kind of laggy. I do wish I had something a bit more, because I think there are definitely a lot of cases where I'm pretty inefficient, and especially with all the AI stuff now, I think I'm kind of I'm getting like old-fashioned, like setting up getters and setters and stuff. I haven't gotten into any of the what do you call it, Copilot. But yeah, I'll do all my development on I'm in the terminal, and I guess it's yeah. So it's using POM files and Maven. So this is the build process. So to run it, I have a script, and then the script here, this is a bash script, so it references the Maven repository. That's where all the dependencies are, like SQLite and things that I depend on. And this is just the Maven syntax to do the build process, and then once the jar is built, so I can to run. So that this here builds the program, and then java-jar that runs the jar file, which is a pretty long name. So that 0.0.5 to jar, and then these are the command line arguments. So those arguments go into the program, and then that runs it. Yeah, so that answers how I'm making this, the overall environment. I guess there's a lot more to it than that, but it can be hard to tell the difference between colorized film and film-like vids. Both can have shirts and colors change for no reason. Yeah, but sometimes for like the AI stuff, there's like I remember seeing one for some girl dancing, and then her dress, her skirt changed into like a completely different piece of clothing in the video. Hello, bro. What are you doing? App. So this is I don't know when you joined, but this is the block mining simulation game development or testing, I guess. I do most of the development offline, but every week I do a little bit of testing on this and try to make a little bit more progress. So this is just a terminal-based video game that I'm working on. And you move around, press the M key to mine blocks. And this week I developed, I added frame selection. So I could press tab and then select between the frames. Although I've got this bug where it, for some reason, it unloads when I switch off the frame, it unloads and brings all the question marks back, which is, I'll have to fix that. Yeah, if you have another question about general stuff, the whole point of my channel is to educate people. So if you have a question about how something works, let me know. It gives me some content for the stream. I'll try Snake in Terminal and Python. Yeah, that's a good place to start if you want to get your feet wet with terminal development. I guess by now my channel is a pretty good resource. I think if you check out my terminal-based video game development, that'll give you kind of an introduction to the basic tools that you need to learn, like setting raw modes and stuff. How long have I been working on this? I guess I probably I don't know, maybe had like 6 months of development before I really talked about this at all publicly, although it's difficult to put a time limit on it because it was just like a spare time thing. And then I think I got really busy with something else for like a year, and I don't know if I even worked on it at all during that time. But recently I'm going to try to, I have a bit more free time, so I'm going to try to make this, try to put a bit more effort into this and turn it into something that can bring in some revenue. So obviously the terminal-based interface makes it like, it's not competitive with other graphical games, but I think if I can focus on like the simulation aspect and maybe even make it more like not even like a fun game to play, but more like a demo for certain types of things in game development, or even just like software development, because that's my my expertise. And try to present how to like approach kind of big development problems, like how to build large pieces of software that actually work and are not insanely slow. So for this game, there's have it implemented so there's a separate thread for every single frame, has its own thread, and there's message passing to move around the information. I had to think about a way to design, because in the terminal you have one standard input and one standard output, and if you have multiple frames or multiple user interface elements that are all possibly reading and writing from the terminal at once, then you have to multiplex those, and ideally you need some design so that the different threads are not like stepping on each other. do I develop a creative vision for how the game should look, function? I can achieve what I want if I spend enough time, but I have a hard time coming up with creative ideas. That's a good question. I guess your creativity is a function of kind of what's already in there. So it depends how old you are. I guess I've had more lifetime experiences and stuff, and I would say for what I have ideas in my mind about like things, like it's very easy to imagine certain things. Like you can imagine some metaverse, or like everyone can imagine like MMORPGs or simulations of the Earth or stuff like that. But then the difficult part is knowing what tools exist that allow you to build that in a realistic amount of time. So it's more like about, you have to like learn about how to do the development. Like I like for example, for this frame, I have seen and remember that there's all these like special frame characters, and I thought, oh, that's you can make a neat, nice looking UI using this. And so I didn't think about the frame and then like have to look for this. I already knew it existed, and I can like imagine what this like this frame based UI. I can imagine it's easy to imagine this because I've already seen stuff like it before. And then all the other kinds of details like cursor position requests and stuff. I already know that those exist, so I know like the tools that exist. And then I have an idea that I want to build, and then I can connect those two at the point is like the easiest thing that I can actually develop in a small amount of time. So yeah, part of it I guess is experience and knowing what tools exist. Because if I didn't know, like if I just started purely from a creative idea, it would probably be much more difficult, because I would think like, oh, okay, like I know some people have a topic that comes up a lot. It's like detailed graphics, like pixel based graphics, which you can do with it's called like Sixels. Some terminals, like it was actually introduced as a standard many years ago, to be able to draw, like if you want to draw like a bitmap or something in the terminal. But the thing is that already exists, and it only works in some terminals. But the whole point of a terminal is it has very restricted graphics in the first place. The emoji characters are kind of an exception that's come around since then. But like if my vision was to, if I started just with a vision of like drawing stuff in the terminal, I'd probably waste a lot of time basically like I would end up like starting as a terminal thing, but then I'd end up just building something. I'd end up building like a regular 3D game or something like that. And I'll probably, spend a massive amount of time developing in the wrong direction. And Entwerfen, that's German, I think, isn't it? I think it means answer in German. I think hello, that's also German. Let's see if I can remember some of my German. How are you? I'm pretty good tonight. I got some progress done on my game just in time before the stream. I am doing good. How are you? Yeah, I hope that's kind of insightful. I'd say if you have it's difficult to give general advice, but yeah, if you had like a specific idea for a game or something you want to build, the next step would be like to figure out what tools exist that allow you to build that, because it's possible that the exact way you want to build it, the exact way you're thinking about starting, is not realistic, and it's like 100 times easier if you slightly change the requirements. And because I know the limitations of the terminal, I can probably get something meaningful done a lot quicker, just because I won't go down a rabbit hole of something that's technically impossible. Have you went to the store to buy a setup? That's a question I want to ask. What are your PC specs? I've a couple computers. I have the like this one that's actually doing streaming. And then this is just an old computer. You're going to leak your IP? I'm not sure what you mean by that. I guess you probably don't want to leak your IP. But yeah, this is just an old laptop I had lying around. I got some kind of basic stuff. If I had more money, I'd invest in like a better streaming rig and stuff. Fantastic Progress Gamer. You mean progress in the game or progress in developing the game? I guess I have a lot of blocks mined at the moment. Thanks for acknowledging my amazing progress. It's been a long time coming. I wish I was a bit faster at building this thing out, but I think I proved my point tonight. The game doesn't have any major crashes or deadlocks. That's a good thing. So I have some bugs with, the frame is kind of messed up in this case. I need to send some more frame focus update events, but otherwise works pretty good. Fix that line bug you were talking about. Which one was that? Was that from last week? I think I probably did. I fixed most of the probably the frame connection points that I had. They were wrong. Yeah, that problem was I was doing the decision making on like what character to render based on the wrong offsets. So it was using the offsets from the offset from the top of the screen rather than the frame offset. So that was that one. But now I got some new bugs to work on. But anyway, I'll try to do that for next week. And for tonight, I'll call it call it a night. And I'll see you guys next week on Saturday around the same time. So talk to you later.